Right, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Yes, yeah, Agatha's here, hello. And Jersey Shore and Richard, thanks for joining. Agatha's just awake, living on Illuminati rocks, that's quite true, yeah. Jersey, to live another day amongst the primordial coil. Hello, fellow magic comrades. Good stuff. Right, how's everybody's week been? And hang on a second, this is a new name. Beto Herman. Beto Herman, there you go. How you doing? Or B2 Herman? I'm not sure. Shall I just call you Herman? And your head. Hello, hello. Cool, we're off to a good start this week. It was quiet last week to start off with. Good to see you as always. And you. Glad you could join. Oh, sorry, I pulled a muscle in my side last night, so I'm going to try and find a comfy position. Oh, shit. Okay, alright, I think I made it. How's everybody been? What you all doing? What's going on? What you want to talk about? To anybody new, this is just Covenstead. We just get together and talk about whatever we want to talk about. Agatha likes the pride beanie. Thank you. My daughter made it. It's really cool. Jersey, my mentor captain Steve here is at the marina. I work at the marina we work at. I love this song. Yeah, the Who's always good. Don't know why I got into a Who binge this past week, so I got the Who radio on. Alexis, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. I'm good. How are you doing? Right, what's going on? I'm just trying to see. It's going to be a chatty week this week. That's good. Zenka, hello, hello. Waiting for everybody to hop on, I think. Announcements while we're waiting for everybody, I suppose. Let's see what we got going on. The next cycle of the workshops has started, so the next workshop, which will be now in July, will be the art of the spirit vessel, where we make a spirit box. So if anybody wants to grab that, it should still be on special, early bird special. So that's 20% off. So go grab that if you want it. It was good. I enjoyed that workshop. It was really good. Well, I like all of them, but that one was fun because it's one of those very, very hands-on hands-on workshops where you actually make a box and record the spirit into the box and everything else. Alexa said I'm all right. Got into argument with a friend about her forcing her wishes, but we will work it out. Communication is key. Oh yes, absolutely. Communication is very important. I don't think we do that much anymore. It shuts down. People are too afraid to actually speak. Yeah, I'm sorry you're going through that. I don't like having fights and arguments with people. It feels horrible. Alexis, where do we check out your workshop's website, Patreon? Go to try that again. Go to website. I keep saying workshops. Go to website. I'll let you put the link to the workshops themselves in the chat. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, all on special at the moment. There's 4 workshops in total. They'll each kind of run a month period, but each one repeats every 4 months. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thanks for asking.
I can't help about the shape I'm in. I can't sing, I ain't pretty, and my legs are thin. But don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answers that you want me to.
It's quite comfortable at the moment. Yeah, let's try that. Jersey, he's into sleight of hand and he's into D&D. He's the dungeon master for the group he plays with. Also into various forms of cults, so he's got tons of potential for sure. Nice, very good. And Psycatsia, hello. Here we go, yeah. Supreme Demon, Arthur, Master, Mr. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
Now when I talk to God, I knew he'd understand. He said, stick by me and I'll be your guiding hand. But don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answer that you want me
to. Yes, that was. Hang on, let's see announcements. I'm sort of waiting for everybody to hop on, so I go quiet. Let's try and we'll figure out what's going on. So, got the workshop. Next workshops are Art of Spirit Vessel. We are doing the book club next week, which is just a review of the book we read this month, which is Backwards Witchcraft. And then next month we're doing 6 Ways by Aidan Watched. That was the name. Yeah. So that's going to be a cool book. Aidan Watched's books are brilliant. Psycats, I'm doing okay. How was your workshop? It was great. The last one, the planetary magic one, it was really good. I enjoyed it. Jersey, have you ever played or been into... I haven't actually. No. Something I've never done. In any respect. Don't know why I just never got into them. Agatha. Never bought one of your courses yet, but you have taught me so much just from your free content for these Covensteads. Yeah, to be totally honest with you, I'd love to just do this for free and just teach everybody, but have to make a bloody living in our capitalist world. So unfortunately, I have to do some stuff which pays the bills. Psycat, looking for insights on your practice with the planetary forces. I will have, if you want to buy, I kind of recorded the whole thing, and I'm just going to chop out the bits that have the people who were in the workshop. I'll cut those out, so you get the nitty-gritty of the workshop itself, the actual teaching parts. I should have that up this coming week. In fact, I need to put that on my schedule because getting a bit swamped. So if you want to check that out, I'll put that onto my Patreon though. Let's do planetary force. Alexis, I haven't played D&D either, but it does seem interesting and fun. It does, yes. Very involved. Psycho, did you find the planetary forces much easier to work with, as most say? I wouldn't say they're easier to work with than any other kind of spirits or forces, entities, powers. It's just a different kind of energy, a different kind of way that you work with them, you know. And I mean, if you equate the various different spirits with the various different planetary force or aspects, you're working with the deities anyway. So yeah, it all depends on how you work with them, I think. But I do incorporate a lot of planetary magic, regardless of what I'm doing. There's usually it's usually led a lot by planetary magic. So get the ladder. Hello Cthulhu, how you doing? Thanks for joining. I haven't seen you in a while. Kasim, hello. You said, I think I have the reason my magic is blocked. It seems to be I am being called to go a tier. I still feel uncomfortable to doing it, but I do feel pulled towards it. What would you recommend I do? Just go with the flow. So what I would suggest, if you feel you're being pulled to it, is just start with it. And by that I mean pick a spirit, and one that's kind of easy, kind of an easy entry point kind of thing, like Boone or Vasago. You know, Boone's my favourite spirit from the whole glacier. And just start working with them. Just build a relationship. And yeah, and then go from there. You know, I think when it comes to the grimoires, you've got two ways you can go about working with them. One is the actual grimoire method itself. The other is using it as kind of a spirit catalogue, and connecting with the spirits in whatever manner you do, whatever manner you connect with them, which is what I tend to do. I do like kind of exploring the grimoires. There's some bits and pieces here and there that kind of become an interesting guiding aspect, like, you know, Grimorium Verum, where you actually have an intermediary spirit, a gatekeeper that you actually go to before going to the other spirits, which I think is very important in any magic. So, you know, there's all those bits and bobs that you can pull out of it. But yeah, I'm not a kind of hardcore ceremonialist, you know, stick to the grimoire method person. Tried to be years ago, but could never be that. Cthulhu, have you been in a spiritual dump where you feel spirits and people are not responding to you when you are seeking answers? Oh yeah, quite a lot. Many times actually. You go through those periods. You know, sometimes just everything's going fantastic and you're like storming ahead, and then you just hit that plateau, and sometimes you just dive straight down again, and then you come back up again, and you dive straight down again, or you hit a plateau again. And it's those periods, those times where you just sit back for a while, just put your feet up, go over what you've learned, how you've progressed, all the stuff that you've gained, and just look at it from that perspective. And then there'll come a period again where you kind of move forward. So those plateau periods are almost like the review periods that you should go through. but don't try and push yourself forward. Keep some kind of practice going so that you keep the energy flowing, but you know, don't try and force yourself to do things that your body and your mind are just saying, no, not today. Alright. Stormy's here. Hello, Stormy. Alexis, I've heard some about planetary magic. Some people consider the planets as its own god, spirit, and set altars for them. Yes, yeah, that's very much planetary magic itself, where you actually build a relationship with the planetary aspect. So yeah, absolutely. Psycat, thank you. There seems to be some confusion between Jovian and solar energies in the context of kind of wealth magic. Yeah, because a lot of people do use the sun for wealth, because it's also associated with gold. So I suppose it's a bit more nuanced, but a kind of a simple, straightforward explanation here might be that Jupiter is about increase and expansion, but you've got to kind of bring that in. So at some point you might want to bring in a Saturnian boundary, for instance. Otherwise, if it just keeps expanding, you're just going to get into a whole lot of trouble, right? But it's all about increase and expansion. So from a wealth perspective, it's about increase and expansion, okay? And you just let it go after its own. Whereas in the sun aspect, the sun is very much about your own ego. So it's about wealth from that egoic perspective. I mean, you can take all of the planets, you can apply them to wealth magic. Like Saturnian energy, for instance, would be about precision, about organization, about boundaries, setting boundaries. That's very important in wealth, business, and money magic. So all of them can actually bring in some aspects. Mercury's the merchant, you know. So from an actual mercantile business aspect, Mercury is amazing for that, and all about knowledge and communication, which is very important in business. So you can actually bring all the planets into wealth magic, but they just have a different approach to how they actually are applied. Cthulhu, lately people have been straight up hostile or not helpful or just plain ignoring me. It might just be something that you are going through yourself. You know, just the way the planets are lining up for you at the moment. So just let that period go. Just kind of go through it, get to the other side, see what's on the other side. You know, we have ups and downs all the time. It can't be good all the time. You've got to go through the bad stuff as well. So just let it go through. Carry on. Agatha, I plan to buy access to your workshop. Perhaps. Oh, that would be fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. I was saying earlier that the this next one coming up, the Art of the Spirit Vessel, it's a fun one. It is, because we do build, and it's very practical. But I do enjoy all of the workshops. Oh, thank you, Agatha. I love that. Thank you very much. But yeah, they're all great. They really are. Could I crank it up? Well, I can't, because then you can't hear me. There's no point having a live stream then. I am the Lizard King. Good stuff. Beto or B2 or Herman. We're just going to go with Herman. Have you worked with Lucifer, and what are your thoughts on... probably Venus was called Lucifer before. I have worked with Lucifer in different aspects. There's different masks or guises. So in terms of Venus and Lucifer, Lucifer really is a Latin word or name, and Lucifer is a title. It is the light bringer. Okay, it's not actually. I suppose you could say it's a proper noun, but it's It's not actually a name, it's a job title. There are many, many, many Lucifers, okay? When it comes to Lucifer and Venus, this is very much a Roman thing again, where Lucifer is the light of the planet Venus. So when you see Venus in the sky, Venus is a body, the goddess Venus itself, Aphrodite, etc., etc. But the light that you see reflected, bringing the light to you, is the Luciferian aspect in that specific sense. So, yeah, it's a relationship. If you go into things like Aradia by Charles Leland, he kind of speaks of Diana and Lucifer, and this also from its Italian witchcraft, so still very Latinized, very Roman in origin and approach. So he speaks in Aradia. It speaks about Diana and Lucifer. Diana was the all-powerful everything and nothing, the omnil that I call it, and she wanted a companion, so she birthed Lucifer, and Lucifer became her child and her lover, and then they had Aradia, who was sent to Earth to teach man magic, etc., etc. So the whole long, big story, mythology. There you go. So also Roman aspect, but yeah, the Venus-Lucifer connection is a very strong one. Alexis, sometimes spirits would go silent on purpose so that we can rest and integrate the lessons we learn. Yes, absolutely. They know our human bodies and brains need time to adapt or to help us learn, be more confident in ourselves if left alone. Yeah. You also find a lot of the spirits don't really care. So they kind of like just keep pushing and going, oh, they don't understand that we're human, we have to do human things. But yeah, quite often what happens is we do get to those points where we need to kind of just step back, rest, and as you say, integrate the lessons we've learned. It's a very good way of putting it. You also said Sun isn't about generosity both for self and others. Mercury is amazing. I find Sun is more focused on the self rather than for others. Jupiter would probably be, that generosity and the expansion for others, and yourself. But Sun is very much egocentric. Mercury is amazing. I like Mercury. Oops, I skipped. Let's go back here. Psycat said, for a person who's going through a long stretch of bad luck, to bring eternal inexhaustion, good fortune, which planetary energy would you recommend, Sun or Jupiter? In that case, I would probably actually go for the Sun, actually. You want to change your luck. And as I said, Sun is very egocentric, so it's about you, and about what you want to change in your circumstance specifically. It's really got no connection with anybody else. So yeah, I'll go for the Sun. The Sun's also has an aspect of healing. So from that perspective, you might also want to consider this as a healing journey also. So Sun would be very good for that. Cthulhu, dude, you are on it today with this playlist. Yeah, it's the Who Radio. It's a really good playlist, it really is. It's got some damn good stuff in this one. I've been playing it during the week, so I thought I'd play it today. Alexis, Cthulhu, that's frustrating, sorry to hear that, so I hope it gets better. What did you say? People being hostile towards them, yeah. It's a bit of a pain, that is. Jersey Shore. See if you do the playlist. Great. Well, not everybody likes the playlist. Mr. Izu. Hello. Tried some sigil work. I sold 2 old trailers. Got 140 for both of them. Something happened to my clutch driving home. Repair bill was 140 exactly. So Might see that as unfortunate, but I don't. Oh, that was very good sigil work then. Yeah, you got exactly what you needed and asked for. Alexis, that's like cat for me. Jupiter has helped with good luck. Yeah, yeah. Then what you might want to try is try both of them. Try the Sun and then try Jupiter and see which one works for you. It's magic. It's all about experimentation as well. So it will. I'm just a Cancer. I'm in my feelings. Cancer's related more to Moon then, isn't it? Yeah. I often get the zodiac and the planets mixed up. That's why we have correspondence tables. Let's go back on. Luna, hello Luna, thanks for joining. And we've got a second Alexis here. Is there any daemon who helps against traffic accidents? In what sense? To prevent them? I would assume that would be what you're talking about. Does any actually help with? Because there are some that help with travel. They can help you during travel, so you might want to try those. Let's check. No, I think we'll go there. I want to go to the book. This will take very long to load. Hold on. Good. Check. Oh, yeah. Right, so to help protect, have safe journeys and protection, Bathen. This is the most direct recommendation for safe and smooth trips. Also says whether you are flying overseas or taking a long car drive. So you keep the sigil on your person during the journey. So if you're worried about car accidents, then just either keep it on yourself or keep it in your car. Yeah, Bathen is probably the best one there. There's also Naberius, Satanachia, Pazuzu, travel, logistics, and speed. No, general and home protection. I would say Bathen is probably it's going to be your best option there. Alright, hope that helps. Alexis at Cthulhu, how nice my Cancer baby too. Cthulhu. I suppose I left my heart today. Cthulhu, Alexis, not a daemon, but maybe Ganesha, remove obstacles. If it's about, I think if it's about traffic accidents, I don't think removing obstacles in that sense is quite the same thing, really. But I suppose you could view it that way. I don't see why not. Agatha, I prefer quieter music in the background because it's always a challenge to hear Lee's soft voice with my old cronies. Do you want me to? If you need me to turn the music down slightly, I can do. It's all on the app here. So I can't hear what volume you're hearing because my volume's different. So you're gonna have to let me know. Alexis, I see. Thanks for clarifying me. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Alexis and Dr. Johnson. Cool. Lena, I probably won't say much. Can't type very quickly. I'll listen in whilst cleansing my decks, though. No problem. Just I said I could have done with his help with car accidents a couple of months ago. I think I'm over that shit shower stage now. I'm also Cancer, but my Sagittarius rising makes me act like a lunatic most of the time. Yeah. It's kind of interesting when we think about applying the spirits of the grimoires. Sorry, I was got a thingy in my eye. Spirits of the grimoires to more modern contexts, like computers, and one of my favorite questions, and it's not, and I haven't been asked it once, but it's been asked multiple times, is can Marbus help repair my car? And it makes perfect sense because Marbus is related to the healing arts, but also the mechanical arts. And when you work with Marbus on a healing basis, it does get very mechanical. So, you know, if you need to repair your car, that's mechanical and you're healing your car. So, you know, it makes absolute perfect sense. I love it when we apply this stuff to modern parameters. Just out of interest, Batten also helps with astral projection. I remember somebody asking that a while back. For all kinds of travel. Sappho, hello. Thanks for joining. Alexis, I'm going to call you Alexis 1 and the other Alexis 2. Because you've been on here longer. I was thinking about Marvus the other day. Totally mechanical plus healing. He'd be great to turn to. I love Marbus. Marbus is one of my favourite spirits to go to because I do healing work. And he gifted me a water dragon to help with my healing. So yeah, that was quite fun. So I read on VK's site, Marbus also bestows luck and wealth. Yeah, I don't take much salt in VK's site anymore, to be honest with you. I did kind of add a lot of what he said when I was doing the Demon of the Week stuff, but don't really. Yeah, no, decisions made kind of turn me off. Luna, please can you spell the demon name in the chat? Right, so it's Batten. There you go. Oh no, it's doing it again. Just if you can hover over, I don't know why it does a translation thing. It's Bathin. So can any spirit heal anything major? Yeah. Depends what it is. But what generally tends to happen in cases like that is you'll be guided to the person who can actually heal you. If it needs to be done on a physical level, you know. But a lot of major healing things can be done energetically, and even at a distance. I've seen some rather interesting things happen. So I got a tough question: how to just discern between the actual spirit and the egregore? That is a very difficult one, because I think the spirits we work with now are egregores. There was a very interesting quote I heard earlier, and now I can't remember what it was in regards to this. I knew I should have written it down, damn it. Yeah, but you got to then ask the question: is the egregore not the actual spirit? Because it kind of is. I think what you're trying to get at is it the original form of that deity? And that is extremely difficult to tell. I don't think anybody. Well, I can't say nobody works with the original forms of the gods anymore, because they do. There are some. A quote from Orion Foxwood. Was it Orion? I think it was Orion Foxwood. Actually said that we are the people that work with the gods who have gods. Something like that. Or I can't remember. Anyway, my memory, yes, absolutely. So we have the original gods who, well, the gods that we kind of think of have gods. But does that mean that they are then the different forms of those deities, which then become egregores, because they are created or adapted, adjusted from the original form into something that fits a region, place, and it, depending on which place that goes to through trades and travels and everything else, it changes again and again and again and again, and they all become aspects, facets, facades of the original entity, but in themselves as bodies, they become egregores. They're not the original form. But at the same time, we then can have a look at the idea of archetypes. If we have the horned god as an archetype, the archetype is kind of a mold. But from that mold, from that archetype, come various different horned gods. Kurninos, Pan, Hern, some would even include Shiva, etc., etc., etc. All of these various different horned gods who are different and independent within themselves. But they come from this mold, from this archetype, which is the horned god archetype, right? So, are they egregores? Or were they the original deities, and then as that moved from region to region through thousands and thousands of years, they became different faces of that original, which were egregores. So it is a very, very difficult one. Kasim said, is everything an egregore, or do you think the spirits had an origin point? So I heard one point that humanity created all the spirits, but I disagree with that. No, I think the deities there were original deities, and I think they had gods of their own, on and on and on. But I do think they were original forms. And as I said, they're kind of like over thousands or hundreds and thousands of years. They went to different regions. You probably had somebody going trading in a different country, and when they came back home, they brought back the beliefs of that country that they were in. They talked about the myths and told their own people about these wonderful, amazing people they just met, and all of the stories that they told about their gods. And then that sort of started getting incorporated into their own regional pantheon. But it became slightly different, like a broken telephone. So it wasn't the original form, it was something slightly different, but it was similar. And then you've got things like, if you go through the UK, you've got all the different accents from village to village. I mean, you only just drive down the road and all of a sudden the accent's completely different. So you have somebody who goes from one town to the next, and they repeat the name of a local deity, and onto the next town they kind of say the name, but because their accent's different, they don't say it the same way. So the name gets changed. So all of these various different things that tend to happen throughout history. But yeah, that's me rambling on. And then it went very quiet. Agatha, it's just fine volume-wise. Okay, alright. As long as you can hear everything alright. It's not, the music's not too loud, etc. Herman, have you heard that some people think that demons are aliens? Oh yeah. Some people believe that the gods are the aliens and fairies aliens and all sorts of stuff. I think a lot too many people kind of have this idea that they must be aliens because, you know, it makes them extraterrestrial. It makes them something beyond our experience and beyond our world and reality and everything else. And my argument there is that our deeper into our own existence, into our own place of being, we kind of discover all these amazing things. But people seem to put their attention into places here elsewhere. They're different planets, different galaxies, different universes. I seem to have frozen. I don't know if... Yeah, I think everything's frozen. There we go. Michael, Daleks, innit? Absolutely, yeah, fucking Daleks. Okay, I've frozen. I don't know if it's... Hang on, let's try switch on and off stuff. Yeah, I think, you know, if we actually stayed here and have actually looked at what we've got, what we can experience in this reality, we wouldn't need to go out into various other galaxies and planets and stuff. Hold on. Let's try this. Turn it off and turn it on. And no, still frozen. Okay, can you all hear me still? If you can hear me, I'm just going to switch stuff off and try and start my camera again. Just let me know if you can hear me. Alexa said, if we assume that spirits and demons existed before Earth... Oh, Lowton said you can hear me. Hello, Lowton. And Michael. Yeah, hello, Lolo. Alright, while I'm reading and trying to answer, I'm going to try and switch everything off at the same time. Hold on. Right, let's see. If we assume that spirits and demons existed before Earth and humans came to life, then maybe we could call them aliens. I suppose we could. You know, it is possible. That also fits into a lot of the theories of the aliens kind of boosted human existence from, what was it? Or Homo sapien or something. There's a big, huge kind of jump in our evolution. So some people see that as being interference by aliens from different planets. So I just want to do this. But in that same vein, we have the story of the Grigori, or the Watchers, from the Book of Enoch, who got completely enamored with humans, that they started teaching them. And also that was a big sudden skip in evolution. We weren't supposed to increase our intelligence that quickly. And so people argue that point as well. I'm not sure my camera's going to switch on. Let's just see what happens. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can look at it, theories and everything else. Let me just try this. Okay, no, still frozen. Hold on, let me just switch this off. Not going to work today. There. Now I can do this. And alright, I will be back just now. Hold on, I'm still here, don't worry. Just sort out cameras. Yeah, that's on. Okay, here we go. I am back on the other camera and it's all over everything. Let me just move it all down. There we go. Alright. We'll have to do that. We'll do with that for now. Okay, sorry. Getting back to the questions. Okay, so that was Alexis, and then Kasim said, "Can you offend spirits? I am a bit worried I caused offence by saying I wasn't going to work with Galatia. Or do you think the spirits really don't give a shit?" Mostly they don't give a shit. Unless you've made a promise. They will make sure you stick to a promise. But they don't really have egos, not the same as we do. If you said you don't want to work with them, why would they care? Most of the time it's, you kind of call on a spirit and the question becomes, what makes you worthy? Why would they want to work with you in the first place? So, it's not like they're sitting around waiting for us to kind of reach out. So, largely, they don't give a shit. But, as I said, if you've made an oath, a promise, a pact, anything like that, you have to stick with it, and that's where you might end up in a bit of a trouble. But that doesn't seem to be what you're talking about. Oops. Come on. No, Psycat. Mr. Johnson, what are your thoughts on the limitations of different categories of spirits in delivering desired results, planetary energies and demons, if any? So, yeah, it depends on what spirit you're working with. Some are bigger, more celestial based, and they won't want to bring you things like, annoy the co-worker, or pay your rent for you, or things like that. They're not going to bother with that. They're celestial. They're too big. They're controlling the powers of the cosmos. But then you get demons who are more likely to help you with those smaller things, the everyday things, the things that we deal with in life, that we need help with. So it's kind of like almost like the closer they are to the earthly realm, if we can put it that way, they're going to be more inclined to help with earthly things, everyday things, human things, whereas more celestial, planetary energies can be viewed slightly differently, because you have, especially if you're going to things like Agrippa, where you have the intelligence and the spirit, you kind of have that big force, which is the planet, but you can refine that and fine-tune it into a specific task or specific goal through the help of the spirit. So, you know, there's different approaches as well, as all things in magic. So yeah, it just depends on what you're doing, what you want to accomplish, and therefore kind of like the spirit you go to for whatever it is. Alright, so, yes. Okay, Pastor, hello Pastor, how are you doing? Do you believe Sasquatch is real? I don't see why not. We have many things on this planet that we can't explain. Many wonderful and amazing things, and people have experienced these things, experienced Sasquatch, Bigfoot, so why not? What they call cryptids, all of the kind of animal, mystical animal things. So I can't, we can hear you. Okay, cool, function clear. Oh no, I'll click on it. Cool. Alright, hang it. Sappho, I honestly believe demons represent keys to our own psyche. They enable us to open gates to our minds, tap into energies. It's actually something that Crowley actually said in his version of the Goetia, is that they are aspects of our own psyche, and we can use them to, as you said, open gates, unlock things. So yeah, very much that kind of approach, and I don't disagree with it at all. At the same time, I also believe they are independent entities, or independent from us, but that doesn't mean they're also not part of our own psyche. Yeah, it's a big strange world. Through this chat has been uplifting. I needed this, thank you, and everyone else. Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Glad it can help. Of course, it was The Who as well. It really is a good playlist. Got the Animals, Velvet Underground, Led Zeppelin, The Doors, Pink Floyd, Deep Purple, Talking Heads, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, The Moody Blues, Black Sabbath. Christ, a really good one. Bobby Mordka, hello. That's okay. We've still got an hour. You can ask all the questions you want. This Aizu, really good playlist. It is, isn't it? I love it. Yeah. Now, as I was saying earlier, I got into a bit of a Who binge earlier on in the week, and then I started listening to the Who radio, and yeah, I thought I'd play it today because it's really good stuff. Moody Blues. I've nearly forgotten about that. Isn't it amazing how many bands we kind of like forget about because we just don't hear them anymore? I've done that myself many times. Psycho, which expectations can be considered unrealistic in wealth magic? Those spirits can bend reality. Unrealistic would be I want $1 million tomorrow without doing anything. I just want $1 million in my bank account. There you go. That's very unrealistic because there's no avenue that it's coming in from. There's no reason why it should come in. So, you know, that kind of thing. That kind of thinking is kind of the unrealistic way of looking at it. Lowton, something I've been wondering about, is there such thing as primal magic? The kind that revolves more around raw power rather than ritual and ceremony. Oh yeah. Use rage. Get into an absolute complete rage. Change into the beast. But you've got to be able to direct that energy. You've got to be able to take it and really fine-tune where it goes to. Otherwise it just becomes a whole mess of energy that's going everywhere, and you're not going to accomplish anything. But yeah, use rage, and you'll really tap into the primal aspects of yourself. Really. Mr. Izu, weird question: do demons like music? Oh yes, yeah. I find that they do anyway. I think all spirits do in some way or form. Bobby Walker, recently we talked about my spiritus with wormwood for the spirits of nature and locals. I was in a cave and had adventures. Nice. Yeah, I remember you talking about that last week. So, I need to adjust. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. Well, see how comfortable I am. Bloater. That is something that comes natural to me, I think. Not just specifically rage, but that simple, straightforward method. Yeah, it's just about tapping into that primal aspect of yourself at the end of the day. But as I said, it's no good just tapping into it and letting it kind of like disperse everywhere, because that doesn't accomplish anything. You've got to be able to contain it, to take all of that energy, that power, that magic that gets generated, and direct it into something. Otherwise, waste of time, you know. Luke, also I realized that working with Lilith and Naama is such a good mix. We learn about our desires and how to develop full potential and be free and value ourselves. Yes, absolutely. You might want to also include the other two prostitutes, sacred prostitutes. So it's Lilith and Naama. I forget names now. Hold on. I shall find the names. That's what happens when I try to think of the name. Alright, while that's trying to sort itself out, I'll carry on and I'll come back to the names. Richard at Psycat, that is like people also saying they want to win the lottery but they don't play it. There is some intention and work needed, yeah. It's very unrealistic if you kind of like don't put the mundane work in at the same time. Yes, there we go. Close, that's close, hold on. It is Lilith Naama Agrat Bat Malat and Aisheth Zenonim. There you go. Almost there, Lowton. Yeah. So what was happening when I was like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, Luna said, I'm told that certain spirits have their own music, which is very different and probably very dissonant to our ears. That's quite possible. I would say that specifically in relation to the fairy, they probably do. Because they have culture, their own cultures and religions and families and commerce and everything else. Lights and Dragons set a very good example to follow. Build up the fire in your chest and breathe it out. Yeah, well, that's one way of looking at it. Bhavya Morka, walking home, people I passed looked at me strangely and ran away, and a few were terrified. I met a fox cub on the road who didn't react to my presence until I stood next to him. Then he saw me and ran away like people do. Very strange. For the fox, I was invisible for a moment. People saw something more and they ran away. Yeah, when you have experiences like that, there's a transformation that happens. It's an alteration of your energy frequency, to put it in a kind of a modern sense. And people who see that, they can't relate to it. It's very different. It makes them feel very uneasy. So yes, they're going to run away. Eventually, your energy kind of simmers down and goes back into its old mold, its old form. So yeah, no, it's totally what happens. Luna Jezebel. No, it wasn't Jezebel, but yeah, Jezebel's also a good one to work with. Mostly for women though, when it comes to Jezebel. I found aspects of Jezebel to be very good for women who work in some kind of field that involves sex. And it might not be sex work, it might be, for instance, bartending. Where you just need to kind of manipulate men into giving you lots of tips and that kind of thing. It's very good at that. Lawson, I could remember the names, but not how to spell the names the same. Or how to say them either. Psychats, indeed, Mr. Johnson. However, what if these spirits are asked to open the floodgates of opportunities to make $1 million per month? Will that be considered unrealistic or perfectly legit? If you approach it the right way, this is why I said it becomes unrealistic if you ask them to do that, but you don't do anything. You just sit there. Now, if you open the floodgates of opportunities are going to come your way that you have to act on. You have to take those opportunities and you have to make something of them. But if you sit there and don't do anything with it, nothing's going to happen. The opportunities are there, everything's coming through, but nothing's happening because there's nothing being formed, nothing coming into actualization, because you are doing bugger all. That's the unrealistic aspect to it. So if you are going to do something, then sure, and it might take a long time to get to that kind of level. It might take a long time to build up a process, and you might have to do other magic to get you there as well. Create a storyline, and each point in each chapter in the story you do magic for, kind of thing. So it's realistic if you act upon it. Luke, what are your thoughts about Baal Kadmon? Oh, the author. I don't really like him. I feel like he's knowledge and everything. He do it just so huge. These courses, books and stuff, rare knowledge, and you can see that he's very good in it. I actually don't think so. I've read a couple of his books and I wasn't very impressed at all. Can't remember why now. It was a long time ago. But yeah, I wasn't very impressed myself. Alexis. This is Alexis 2. Nice. I may just draw the sigil of Bathin and keep it in my bag. He has a very cool appearance too, handsome knight with a serpent's tail. Yeah, try that. Just keep it in your bag, keep it on your person somewhere where you can have it all the time. So I say, you know, if you've got a car and you're driving in the car all the time, you can also put one in your car. You know, hang it from the rear view mirror or something like that. But if you're traveling by train or bus or something like that, you're going to want to keep it on your person, obviously. Luna, I was a barmaid and ran a pub for a while, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it has a very sexual aspect to it, but you know, kind of weird world. Sim, in your opinion, what is the difference between the galactic spirits and the angels? What realm do each control respectively? So the galactic spirits are terrestrial. They are more closely related to us than the angels are. The angels are celestial. And the difference is that the angels, being celestial, control huge, massive things in the cosmos, whereas the galactic spirits are closer to us and therefore they're more likely to help us with our daily life. Kind of the nitty-gritty of it. Psycat, there are numerous reasons why Mr. Johnson is called the one supreme. You're not going to stop, are you? Happy Mordka. Today I bought 3 books by Cunningham for a few cents. Magic of the Elements, Nature and Wicca. Nature and Wicca for sorcery practitioners. I wonder if I will find something there that can be used practically. Yeah, I would believe so. Cunningham was good. Obviously it's very Wicca based, neo-paganism. This was kind of like just after the period, roundabout, but just after the period when Ed Fitch kind of made Wicca public. It was felt that there was too many people interested when it was brought to America, from England to America. There were too many people interested. They didn't have enough capacity and enough covens to actually train everybody. So Ed Fitch kind of created, it was like a workbook, I've forgotten the name of it now, and started sending it off to people. And then it became, I think Ray Buckland also had a big influence on this, especially with his well, I call it Sue Wicca. What is it? Other people call it CX Wicca, I think. But you know, it started becoming more public, and doing the idea of doing self-initiations. So it became Neo-Wicca and Neo-Paganism and everything else. And Cunningham was on that bandwagon. So there's a lot of things you can definitely learn from. I wouldn't recommend his book on herbs. People who I know who are herbalists say that there are quite a few errors in there. So yeah, just be careful of if you get any information from that, just double check it. But yeah, Cunningham, I started off with Cunningham. Especially Wicca for solitary practitioners was one of my go-tos. Good stuff. Sappho, it's also realistic to accept imperfection. That doesn't mean give up, it just means sometimes it does go as planned. Yeah, there's also that. You know, but at the same time, when it does kind of go as planned, you've still got to take some action at some point, you know. And I think this is where a lot of people new to the craft kind of have this idea that you can just do magic and everything will just pop into your lap. And it's been going on like that for years and years and years, decades. You know, people believing that, but it's largely because of how magic is portrayed in movies. But yeah, so I'll kind of do some magic, but they won't put in the mundane work. Mundane first kind of thing. Luke's, I see you are like master and he is scholar. Thanks for sharing. Are we talking about Bol Cadman? I don't know. I don't consider myself to be a master, to be honest with you. So, but thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah. I need to learn to do that more. Is take compliments, but yeah. Babi Mordka, Goetic are demons, angels, or Enochian. Oh no. Angels are far more than just Enochian. The Enochian are just a subset. And there's arguments that they're not even angels. They were only called angels because, I mean, yes, you get Michael, Gabriel, and all those that pop up in Enochian magic, but they were only called angels because for Dee and Kelly to say anything other than they were angels would have got them killed. So they just kind of went with that. But there's arguments that they're not even angels. Because it's very horrible to work with, apparently. I'll find out pretty soon if I actually get there. Sim, how do you mean they are closer to us? Like, you mean they created us? Oh no, they didn't create us. They are closer to our realm, our existence, our reality. We have community and commerce and lives and families, and we live and we die and everything else. The gods do as well, but when it comes to demons and fairies, they're a lot closer to us. They can pop in and out of our reality. So they have, it's kind of like, think of two worlds. We've got ours and we've got the fairy or the Jinn, okay? And they do this, they overlap. So they exist in the same space, but because they are 5-dimensional entities, they can move between time and space. So they can move in between these realities. We can't do that. We can, but it's very difficult for us. It's not natural. So they exist here in this our realm, whereas angels are out there doing celestial, cosmic things and controlling events on the planets and all of that stuff, right? So it's just a difference in that aspect. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. Lotan, speaking of the sex aspects of things, that's something I feel from Chemosh quite strongly, particularly through the lens of masculine sexuality, which is interesting given his traditional role. Thought he was associated with Atar, the personification of Venus. You do have to be careful when it comes to the idea, specifically when we're talking about gods and spirits, the idea that they are masculine or feminine. And even as the personification of Venus, for instance, that can be masculine, feminine, or anything in between, and anything outside that as well. It's a very sticky, tricky area to get into when you start associating them specifically with this whole masculine and feminine aspect. The old idea of masculine and feminine within magical texts wasn't really about sexuality or sex. It was more about being receptive and active. But it was just kind of, I think over decades it kind of got taken as being this masculine and feminine, this binary thing that we kind of deal with. But yeah, be kind of careful when you get into that realm. It does get a bit sticky. Oh, so you also said who was themselves a war or fertility god, depending on the region. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Ishtar, Inanna, Astarte, there's very much a warring aspect and also a political aspect in there. Whereas when you get to Aphrodite or Aphrodite or Venus, it becomes more about beauty, fertility, sexuality. When it became Venus with the Roman aspect, they added more of a not really political, but kind of a empirical, commercial aspect to Venus, because that's what the society was all about. Yeah. Sappho, I mean, don't go as planned. Oops, hang on. You meant don't go as planned. What did you say just now then? Oh yes, yeah. Well, yeah. Things don't always go as planned. In fact, things rarely go as planned for me. Psycat, when working with solar and Jovian spirits for good fortune, how should the petitioner approach the petitions for both? Also, does the concept of eternal, inexhaustible, perennial good fortune exist? No, I would say no to that last bit. Everything has its ups and downs. You're not going to get an inexhaustible, eternal, constant flow. You're going to have areas where you're going to lose, and you're going to have areas where you're going to gain. You have to find either a balance or a shift towards more gain and less loss. There's got to be both in there to create a tension, because otherwise there's no tension, there's no creation, there's no actualization. Then you asked, your first ask, when working with solar and Jovian spirits for good fortune, how should the petitioner approach the petitions for both? Well, it depends what work you're doing, how you generally approach spirits. I mean, you can use the Orphic hymns, for instance, which is one of my favourite things to do. You can envelop yourself in the planetary energy from a Denning and Phillips kind of manner or approach. You can completely invoke and immerse yourself in all of the correspondences of the planets. The colour, the metal, the sounds, the music, everything. Just get everything in your environment that aligns with the planet, and just kind of invoke the energy of the planet that way. But it is about invoking the energy. So the energy of the planet comes in, and you attune yourself to that energy. You resonate at that same frequency, so that you can accomplish the work you want to accomplish. Same with any spirit, really. But it all depends. There's a lot of different ways you can approach the actual planets themselves, the spirits. And it depends on the tradition you're working with. It depends on the grimoire you might be working with. The method changes. Luke, of course it is you. Sorry, hang on. Wonderful soul and person. I'm glad others have someone like you. Thank you for everything. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. And thank you, Agatha. I appreciate it. Baby Mordka, by the way, what kind of rituals we have in Satanic Rituals by LeVay? I know they are satanic, but they are useless because of their metaphorical nature. Or can you actually interact with an entity? If you are taking LeVayan Satanism in its true form, you will not be interacting with any entities at all, because it is actually non-theistic towards atheistic. They don't even believe that they themselves have a spirit, a soul, especially from an atheistic perspective. So you're not going to be interacting with entities in the slightest, because they don't believe in entities. They don't believe in spirits and gods and goddesses and everything else. Lowton, I had a dream of a Nokian table once, though it wasn't the same script as what D wrote down. Wish I was able to remember it better. It's the problem with dreams, isn't it? kind of have these things with words and whatnot, but they drift away and then you can't remember what they were. You can try and go back into the dream. Try some dream incubation or something and try and go back into it so you can see it better. So no, it's difficult. Bevan Walker, have you read Fairy Faith in Celtic Countries by Evan Wentz? Maybe we'll see a video with more interesting themes from this book. I think I got about halfway through that. It's very kind of old, well, not really old English, but I mean, it was, what was it, 40s, 30s it was published. It's a very good book. If in terms of fairy lore, it's one of the go-tos for a lot of people. So it is a very, very good book. I'll definitely say that. And what I read was amazing. I mean, it was an exploration of how people within the Celtic lands kind of interact with the Fae, the folklore around it in regions. You know, not just kind of broader. Well, this is how you deal with the fairy in the Celtic tradition. You know, it was very specific to towns and villages, and each one how their particular folklore and everything else surrounding the Fae. You know, very good. I really, really enjoyed that, I must say. Lowton, that is something I am aware of, but it's more based on what he himself has indicated to me. He has no problem with the passive side of things. What was that in reference to? Oh, was that Chemosh? Yeah. Well, I think that's actually a good aspect for any being, is to have a balance of active and passive. You do get some, or a lot, most, who will have a leaning towards a particular thing, but they can bring themselves back into an equilibrium. I think that's a good sign that an entity, a being, and I'm including humans here, have actually put in the work to kind of like improve themselves to that point where you do want to look up to them, honor them, respect them. Michael, hello Michael. Good morning from USA. I hope the USA is treating you well. I know it's not treating a lot of people well. Do you think the Watchers in the Book of Enoch were misunderstood and coming from a place of compassion and empathy and not mere betrayal of God? Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Christian myself. The Book of Enoch tends to be very much, don't follow that kind of idea that the angels come from heaven and all that kind of thing. But we could view these as a particular subset of fairy, for instance. There's a lot of folklore, English folklore, that believes that the Watchers, the Grigori, were fairy. And they taught humans particular things. And advanced them quicker than they were supposed to be advanced and things like that. And that's kind of like where I fit in. I don't believe that these angels came from heaven, and because when I think of angels, they are these big massive entities that control powers of the cosmos and events that happen on the planets and everything else, right? And they're usually, angels specifically, they're usually groups of spirits, they're not singular entities. And these, the Grigori, are singular entities. So I think this is a subset of something which isn't exactly fitting in there, but it's made to fit in. Yeah, if that makes any remote sense. But I do have belief that they were actually fairy and that kind of entity. Cthulhu, what spirit was the worst has the worst ADHD problems in your opinion? I guess to clarify, if you're trying to work with them, they are easily distracted and all over the place. That's usually the human one. I can't think of any. No, can't think of anything there, sorry. I mean, the spirits themselves are flows of energy, and they're usually not erratic at all. I suppose the only spirit which is not human, which would create an erratic energy fluctuation, would be a parasite. That's the only thing I can think of that would kind of fit that, anyway. Alright, where was I? Psycat, apologise for not being able to ask more clearly. No, it's fine, don't worry. Hold on. Okay, let's just see what you said down here. An example: a person wants to work in the entertainment industry, then how should he approach in terms of asking the what part of manifestation, as Sun and Jupiter are both related to good fortune? So if a person wants to work in the entertainment industry, they first need to become educated to be able to work in that industry. So you can ask for help in that area. You're not going to work with just Sun and Jupiter, by the way, in any of these things. Taking this in as an example, you need to become educated. You need to then build yourself up in authority. Now, if it's authority, you're probably going to want to work with the Sun in that aspect, if you're choosing one or the other. Then once you've gained authority, then you need to start finding avenues that will open up to you. That's going to be a completely different planetary energy altogether. I mean, that's more of a mercurial energy, for instance. So it depends on specifically on what you're trying to accomplish. You know, if we're just talking about Sun or Jupiter, because it seems you have something very specific in mind, because you are wanting to fit it into one or the other planet. And there's a lot of ways to look at doing something and achieving something. Right, I'm just going to go back. Bavimorka. Yes, but some of them contain some invocations in the Enochian language. What was that about? Oh, you're talking about the rituals, satanic rituals. Yeah, and? You can make as many weird noises as you want with your mouth. Doesn't mean you're going to call anything. And even if you did call something, if you were a satanic witch or a satanist, you wouldn't believe it's there anyway. So, you know, this has always been my argument with Satanism, Levian Satanism, atheistic Satanism, is that they kind of do these rituals which, like, call on Satan to protect them. Well, if you don't believe that Satan's an entity, how is it going to fucking protect you in the first place? You have to do it yourself. So, a lot of the stuff that comes out of Satanism makes zero sense to me. It really doesn't. It's just a load of rubbish, honestly. Lowton, I have tried dreaming of it again, no luck so far. Yeah, it is very difficult. I know it can be. But just put it out there. Maybe ask for a spirit to come along and help you with constructing it. It might be a slow process, but you might get little bits of information here and there. Psychiath, maybe we've done that one already. Lowton, I should clarify. Oops. When I say masculine sexuality with Chemosh, I do mean the energy of such an expression. It does seem to include the physical aspect, as that is part of it, but it is much more the state of being, of expressing that energy and power through oneself and body. Yeah. No, I wasn't trying to tell you shouldn't be doing that, viewing it in a particular manner. Just kind of saying, just be careful, because it can get very sticky, and you kind of like then end up going down this one avenue, which becomes that very polarizing or dualistic approach to everything, and you kind of start to think in that mindset, and it becomes very difficult to get out of it. So just kind of saying, make sure you don't get stuck, as it were. Bobby Walker, ADHD spirit's interesting. I think it's some anti-ADHD entities. Yeah, I think it's an aspect of being curious, and we're all curious, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Lowton, which I think he is also trying to encourage me to attune myself to more. I think the stars, he's patient. Good stuff. Michael, demons are amazing teachers of knowledge and enlightenment from within. Do you think this is a benefit they enjoy from working with us? They are doing what they love. It could be, yeah. It depends on the spirit. I mean, when we're talking about the demons of the grimoires, very often they get related as being Jinn, and there are a lot of different classes of Jinn, cultures of Jinn, and fairy who absolutely hate humans. They would rather see us dead than talk to us. But there are those like the Goetia spirits, for instance, who I think are more inclined to work with humans. They like humans, so that's why they'll help you with various things, bringing knowledge, etc., and being teachers. We also can view this from the perspective of daemon in a broader sense, a daimon from the Greek, which is a tutelary spirit. It's going to be your teacher and your guardian and protector. You also have various translations through the ages of daimon being the intermediary between yourself and divinity. So there's a lot of different ways we can view it, depending on history and personal interpretation. Depends on how you want to view it. Modern demonology says that demons are divine intelligences. That would include everything, apart from parasites. But it would include angels, gods, goddesses, fairy, etc., grimoire spirits. Those are all divine intelligences. So, they just decide to work with a particular pantheon. But yeah, I think in a lot of cases they do enjoy helping. Like a teacher, I teach people, and I love it when, the student starts just going off on their own, just exceeding my expectations. It's marvelous. I love seeing it because I like teaching people. So in some cases, I wouldn't say all cases with spirits, but in some cases, yes, they're going to enjoy it. They're going to love it because it's what they do. It's what they thrive for, what they live for. So Lowton said atheistic Satanism is mostly just a reflection of Abrahamic worldview. It is. It's Christian worldview. It's just they've just replaced the gods. That's all. They are Christians. They really are. I mean, they even believe in a Satan which was created by the Christian faith. So they really are just Christians. Psycat, yes, I am aware about Mercury for opening up avenues and also learning. I was referring to the luck aspect. Since here in India, one needs good luck to even find connections. If you are looking for luck and good fortune in the entertainment industry, I would actually go to Lady Fortuna. Have a look at Jason Miller's books. Let's see if I can find out which book it was in. He speaks of Lady Fortuna in her 4 aspects and how to work. There's a whole ritual in there about working with Lady Fortuna. But I mean, specifically referring to the entertainment industry, I would say Lady Fortuna is going to be your best bet. As far as I know, if you relate that to planets, as far as I know, Lady Fortuna is related to Jupiter. Could be wrong there, can't remember. Hold on. Yeah, it looks like it's probably in financial sorcery. Try for financial sorcery by Jason Miller. I think you'll find the answers in there. He also goes into all of the planets in there and how they relate to money magic. So if you're trying to find an answer specifically for what you're looking for, that's probably going to be your best bet, best avenue. Bowmarker said theistic Satanism is even more Abrahamic, 2 sides of the one coin. Yep. They are the same coin. Cthulhu LeVay was just a cosplayer. Yeah, I have no doubt. He was also a bloody plagiarist as well. He didn't write anything. Bobby Morka, I think I'm a pantheist. I know nothing, but it's not a problem. I don't know anything either, but anyway. Lowton, oh yeah, no trouble with that there. For me, I just despise duality with passion, and I definitely do not get that feeling from Chemosh. More than he represents the things typically associated with it, but not actually. He detests what we would call toxic masculinity. Oh yeah, good stuff. Yeah. As long as you don't get stuck down that avenue, would be a good place to go to. Bovimorka, he doesn't understand the word no either. A second later, a large piece of wet moss fell out of nowhere onto my windowsill. What are we talking about now? We were talking about theistic Satanism just now. And then you said she used the word above when talking about spiritual beings. I thought that was what above was stupid, and then something fell on me from above. I have no idea what you're going on about. I've missed part of the conversation, I think. You're gonna have to let me know. Why have I got a blue dot over here? What's this? Oh, fundraising. Oops, I don't want to go there. I'll just change it to top chat. Hold on. Go to live chat. There we go. Alright, where am I? Lowton said Jupiter is Fortuna's father in the Roman pantheon. Okay, alright, there you go. So, not Jupiter itself, but related. Bavimorka, that was the above thing. Okay, I'll get to that just now. Psycat, I never heard about her. Thank you so much. In the context of Damon's Goetia in particular, whom would you recommend for such an aspect of good fortune? Actually, in reference to the entertainment industry, I would probably actually go with Asmodeus for that. In some mythology, he is referred to as being the the master of the gambling den or something like that. So again, I mean, I know entertainment isn't always about the gambling and all that stuff, but it's entertainment, so it kind of fits into the same particular area. So yeah, I would go with Asmodeus, not Goetia, but close enough. Asmodee in Goetia. Well, let's just check while I've got the notebook open. Which spirits help with good fortune? So Marbas apparently rules over good luck and gambling. Mephisto isn't Goetia. Asmodee, yeah, there you go. That's general wealth and prosperity. That is assistance for opportunities. Yeah. So for luck and gambling, I would say Marbas or Asmodee. Bavimorka. Yes, today I was listening to some New Age woman explaining that the subconscious mind doesn't understand the word no. No, it doesn't. I thought how incredibly stupid the subconscious mind is. Just like, okay. No, the unconscious mind doesn't recognize negatives. So if you were to say, like, people are trying to give up smoking and they say, I don't smoke. It cancels out the negative, so it becomes I smoke, and so it doesn't really help them give up smoking. So something like I am free of nicotine doesn't have any negatives in it, so it kind of goes along with it. But yeah, there's no discrimination with the unconscious mind, so it doesn't recognize negatives. Like a bit of a wide interpretation, but the demons that deal with being able to deceive might be a good option. Helping to sell the acts and all that. I'm assuming you're talking about specifically with the entertainment industry. Don't know about that. It could come in useful depending on what specifically you're doing at the time. You might need some deceit, so that would be useful. But on a broader aspect, I'm not quite sure. Michael, when you work with demons, do you command, control, and evoke them in the goetic sense? No, I don't. Or more invoke from place of respect and collaboration. I take the Connolly approach, which is why I appreciate Connolly so much for giving everybody a title, a name, a way of something to call ourselves, which is demonolatry, demonolator. Because before that, there wasn't anything really. You work with a Goetia, you kind of try to find something in between, something that wasn't really the grimoire style, the Solomonic style of commanding the spirits. But there wasn't really a name for it. So that's why I appreciate Stephanie, really, I do. I think she's brilliant. I know past couple of years there's been a whole lot of people talking nonsense about her, but she's always been down to earth and straightforward, if you ask me. And what she presents works, and that's really the proof in the pudding. Cthulhu, or Nitika for abundance. Nitika's another one to work with, but that's a whole different spiritual avenue then. You've got the... Where does that come from? Is it the Heptameron? Can't remember. It begins with an H anyway. But yeah, Nitika is a very good one. I mean, if you want to work with Nitika, the best place, and I'm not going to say fuckhead, what's his name? Damon Brand, don't like him. But the new Avatar Power. That's an old book from the 70s, but there's the ritual in there, the aspect, the way he actually takes you into a good trance state, and then the technique for working with each of the spirits, and the technique for working with Nitika in there is excellent. It really is, and it gets results for a lot of people. So if you want to work with Nitika, yeah. Alexis, Constantine the Great, Saint Constantine believed in Goddess Fortuna. He would say that someone can only become an emperor if he has Fortuna's favour. Yeah, Fortuna was very, very loved, especially in the Roman Empire. And still is. You know. Lowton, in entertainment, yeah, it is playing pretend to an extent. It can be, yeah. I know what you're getting at, and I do agree, but I think there's from a broader sense, it's kind of like I need to include a variety of different things. Psycho, thank you for being the epitome of patience and wisdom. I did not know the aspect of marvelous and good luck, except I read about it on VK's blog. I thought it was not true. That's probably where that comes from, but I wouldn't really equate Marbas with that myself. But Marbas for me is all about healing, so that's probably why I wouldn't. Which is why I would actually go with Asmodee or Asmodeus, because Asmodeus does envelop that function, that area. Let's just find out what he was called, the actual title. Oh, it's Lord of the Gambling Houses, that was it. Or Overseer of all the gambling houses in the Court of Hell. There you go. The title he was given. So he's got that entertainment aspect to him. And Asmodeus will just, give you power. Well, I've lost my place. Hold on, Lowton. If it involves acting specifically, I suppose presenting or informational roles wouldn't fit with it. Yeah, but coming back to your idea of deceit, again, Asmodeus would actually help with that. So, I think whenever it comes to anything entertainment-wise, and sex worker-wise, I kind of always suggest Asmodeus. I don't like working with Asmodeus myself, but I always suggest him because brilliant to work with for that kind of pursuit. Rena said, I feel like I haven't said anything for a while, so how many beans make 5? Go away. Not getting into that now. Oh, don't make me laugh. It's sore. Alexis 2. Right, at Lowton, I would suggest President Osse. He can make something appear completely different. Okay, there you go. There's the deceptive aspect. The shape-shifting aspect. That's also, oh, just not specifically shape-shifting, but glamour. That's also another thing you might want to look into, specifically in the entertainment industry. So, Alexis, thanks for bringing that up. Is that, you know, the glamour aspect. You glamour yourself so that you present yourself as being what they need, what they want, you know. Bobby Morco, I just remembered today's dream. Some entity and I were digging something out of the northern corner of our property, something harmful. Any ideas about the northern corner? So with the old masons and sacred geometry and the way they used to build the cathedrals, they used to put a very small door in the northern side, and it was small because that's where they believed the demons came in, the devils. So maybe it's got something to do with that. I don't know. It gets very specific to tradition and stuff. But what's on the northern corner of your property? There you go. Start there. Consider Bold Cadman got info on Fortuna page. Pretty good stuff. There you go. I'm not a fan myself, but okay. Other people are. Lowton, and of course any other demon associated with the arts. Oh yeah. Well, depending on which arts. There's lots of different arts. There's the liberal arts, which I wouldn't say is the same thing. Psycats, thank you, Lowton, Sylvia, and of course Mr. Johnson. It's a pleasure. And Alexis, thank you for your insights as well. Do you know YouTube Esoterica? I think everybody knows Esoterica. Dr. Justin Sledge, he's brilliant. The author of this profile once explained that the demon Lilith did not exist in the form known today as a specific demon. Yes. He has a very, very good video about where the mythology of Lilith being Adam's first wife came from. The whole thing of Lilith being Adam's first wife, and why she got kicked out of Eden, of the garden, and everything else, and etc, 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 etc. And this is a huge, big part of what people believe is the mythology of Lilith now, and the true mythology. The problem is that whole thing came out of the alphabet of Ben Sirah, which was a parody. It was a comedy. It wasn't. It was just made up rubbish, and got nothing to do with any lore from any tradition. It was just a load of fiction that somebody made up, and it somehow got taken to be real mythology and real lore. So, you know, there's that part. There's also the aspect that Lilith now is kind of like a champion for women, for the feminine, protector of children, protector of women, a femme liber, etc, etc, etc. But that's got nothing to do with what Lilith the actual Lilith is. Lilith was the eater of children, not the protector of children. So there's been an evolution. Quite frankly, quite honestly, I think this is a face of Hecate. Something morphed somewhere along the line, and the Lilith that everybody talks about now is actually an aspect or a facet of Hecate that's just been renamed somehow. Or it's just an egregore that has formed out of some mythologies that people misunderstood and skewed. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. Why is my alarm going? Oh, it's 5:02. Right, gonna have to wrap up. So I'll do the last few questions here, and then we'll have to say cheerio. Lowton said, funnily enough, the descriptions of the demons do make the distinction between arts and liberal arts. Yeah, I suppose so. Lowton, Lilith has her roots in the Mesopotamian Lilitu. Yeah, there's a lot of it comes out of Lilitu. There's also an association with Lamashtu, and before the Lilitu there was the Lili and the Lilu, which were the wind demons. So there's a lot of history there where Lilith as an individual entity like kind of originated from, and then it progressed into the Hebrew mythologies, etc., etc. Which, yeah, whole evolution upon evolution. Why? What was policy? What did I do? Who did a policy violation?